welcome back to the University of Rio Grande Women's Basketball Talk Show. When we last joined you, we had high hopes of being undefeated whenever we brought the show back, but unfortunately we lost one game. So our record, as of last night with the victory over Midway University, is 18-1. I'm assistant women's basketball coach Brandon Bias. I'm joined by head coach David Smalley. As always, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about some games over break, last night's game with Midway University, and then kind of just talk about other things that we have going, and then have a couple players on. Coach Smalley?
Coach Bias, appreciate it. It's good to be back. We're still in a little bit of a break right now, but classes are going to start next week. Our ladies have just done a tremendous job. You know, as we always talk about on breaks, the only thing we had to do is eat, sleep, and practice basketball 2 or 3 times a day and play games. So proud of our ladies for handling that. Give you a little recap, as Coach just talked about. We were 15-0, I believe, at the last time that we had our little show. At 15-0, that was the third highest game winning streak that we've had in recent years. We also had a 16-game winning streak at one point a couple of years ago, and then we had a 22-game winning streak. So University of Pikeville kind of hurt our feelings a little bit, but we're going to talk a little more about that game here shortly. They did beat us by 3 points. We were 15-1 at that point after Pikeville beat us. Since then, we've gone on a 3-game winning streak. We're 18-1, and we'll talk more about that. Another couple of highlights that we want to talk about. We have another young lady that's going to be added to our 1,000-point plateau here pretty soon. As you remember, China Chambers was one of those young ladies that got it pretty early. Avery Harper got hers fairly early as well, and then Haley Jordan will be joining that prestigious club here pretty soon. I believe she's about 10 points away from hitting that 1,000 point. And also Players of the Week. Ella Skeens was our first Player of the Week, and then I believe Miss Haley Jordan was our second, and now we have a third one, which will be Miss Kaylee Darnell, and we'll talk a little more about that. Recapping right now, which is on probably everybody's mind, was the Pikeville game. Let's talk just a bit about the Pikeville game. We lost 76 to 79. Poor free throw shooting kind of put us in the tank a little bit. We didn't do very well at that statistic. We were only 8 of 15. I believe the opponent kind of got to the line a few more times than we did, so that was a big issue. Then they out-rebounded us. Haley Jordan had 23 points, 10 rebounds in that loss against Pikeville, and Ella Skeens had 19 points and 7 rebounds in that loss. But you know what? Losses sometimes can be a catalyst to reset yourself and restructure yourself, and I think our players have bounced back from that loss, and I think we're really focused, and that win against Midway last night was unbelievable, and we'll talk a little more about that. But that kind of gives you just a little recap up to this point as to where we've been and where we are.
Now, with that Pikeville game, I want to make it known, I could have sworn I seen one of the officials with a U Pike hoodie when they were leaving. Now, that hasn't been confirmed. We're waiting on the investigation to come back, but I'm going to blame it on that. I'm going to blame the loss on that.
We can blame it on a lot of things, but the bottom line is that particular night we just didn't get the job done, and that's life. That's how we recover and bounce back from that. That's in our relationships, in our jobs. That's life. We didn't meet the standard. We didn't hit the mark. Since then, we've been on that journey that I know we're gonna hit the mark the rest of the way out, Coach.
Yeah. So after the U-Pike game, we went on Christmas break, which, again, that game's kind of a trap game. It's a hit or miss. I mean, you don't know, are your coaches, are your players looking forward to time at home? Do they, it's a tough game to play before going on break. Coming back from break on the 30th, we played Miami University Hamilton. And we were able to break the scoring record for a team. We scored 129 points. We won 129-68. That's also a tough game because when you're coming back from break and it's your first game, you probably got 3, 4, 5 practices in before that. You just don't know how you're going to respond. We responded really well with that one. Then we went to our first conference game after Christmas against IU Southeast. We were able to win 100-96. probably didn't play as well as we thought we could have played, but a win is a win. Can you talk any about that?
Well, let's talk about the Miami University Hamilton game. You'd mentioned we scored 129 points, which broke a previous record of 127. And I thought we came out, we're hitting on all cylinders. And just to run down just some of the players that did what we needed to have them do. Haley Jordan, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Kaylee Ross come off the bench for 14 points and lit it up from the perimeter. Reagan Willingham off the bench at 12 points, and Avery Harper off the bench with 13 points and 10 rebounds. And that kind of jump-started us and kind of got us on a little bit of a roll. And then the IU Southeast game, it's not so much that maybe we didn't play well. They came out and played. Had to be the game of their program of years in past. And you look back at all the games that we've had with IU Southeast, they've all been nail biters. They've been, 1, 2, 3 points. I believe we lead that series 6 wins to 2 losses, and every game with them, it just seems to be entertaining.
Close.
And if you're somebody that just sat and watched that, and I told Randy on the interview, if I could have an out of body experience and just get away from the bench and go sit in the stands, I guarantee you I would have loved watching that game. We end up winning, as you said, 100-96. That particular game, Haley Jordan, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals. We had a young lady that playing as a freshman, that she doesn't play like a freshman. She kind of plays like a senior, but I'm glad she's a freshman. Kaylee Darnell, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. And as we say, she was in fuego. She does that all the time. She's one of those players you just don't understand what she's done until you read the stats at the end of the game. She's just consistent and does so many nice things, and that's one of the triple doubles that you talked about.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Wait a second. Is that a triple-double?
That's a TD, baby.
So there's 6 triple-doubles in the University of Rio Grande women's basketball history, and 5 of them have been produced from Wheelersburg High School. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. I think we need to put stock in Wheelersburg High School.
Yeah, well, we're always over there looking, so we gotta find. We thought we were looking for the next Sydney Holden. Now we're looking for the next Kaylee Darnell.
There you go.
So there you go. Which led us up to last night's game against Midway. Midway, very well coached team, very talented team. We were supposed to play them last Thursday. We had prepared for them for 5 or 6 days, then had to pump the brakes, switch it to IU Southeast because of snow. They were not able to travel. Then it got switched to Tuesday. So we got to prepare for this team for 6, 7, 8 days. That's, we usually don't get to prepare for a conference opponent that long. Can you talk a little bit about that with our 99-89 victory over Midway last night?
Well, I will say this, and it's kind of within this program over the years, when we have time to prepare, we normally do a great job. My assistant coaches, Coach Bias and Coach Markham, they're meticulous on details, on lesson plans. We do some nice things. I thought we knew them, and then it was canceled. And in retrospect, hindsight, maybe that was not a bad cancellation, because I don't know that we were really mentally in tune and ready to go. I think we needed to get an IU Southeast game under our belt, like we did, to prepare us for Midway. But we had things rolling in that particular game, and they are a great ball club. Midway is a tremendous ball club. I think we have Player of the Year candidates on this team. Haley Jordan, Ella Skeens, I think Kaylee Darnell. If we continue to do what we envision and what our goal is, those would be 3 candidates that could reach that. Midway has a candidate in number 15, Miss White. I forget her first name. She's a nice player, and we did a great job on her. I thought the platooning, the game plan that Coach Bias and Coach Markham came up with we started out on her, Aaliyah Kreitz, or Ella Skeens, Aaliyah Kreitz, and Haley Jordan. We kind of frustrated her. She had maybe 4 points in the first half, and she's a player. She ended up with 19, but she got most of them at the free throw line. But I thought we did some really, really nice jobs. We out-rebounded a very good team, 52-31. And let me go down through just some statistics from the players that played on the Midway. Aaliyah Kreitz, 21 points, 10 rebounds, and Aaliyah was just a little bit under the weather, just on shoot
high.
around 12:30 yesterday morning, and had to send her over and take a little test, and she's fine. She was everything's worked out good there, and then she ended up, like you said, a career high, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Ella Skeens, 21 points, 10 rebounds. If I was going to go to Vegas, I think I'd play 21 because Haley Jordan, 21 points, 7 rebounds. China Chambers, 14 points. And then, again, one of the bright spots, and we always have bright spots, Harley Antrit. I knew I was going to say Adler. Harley Antrit, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Do you understand what I'm saying? 8 minutes, 10 points, 4 rebounds. And she was in foul trouble. Had she not been in as much foul trouble, she probably gets more minutes and the stats go up. So unbelievable support from those people and from the team in general, and what a great win. To me, that ranks up there under the circumstances with a win like against Indiana Tech.
Oh, yeah. And they pushed us in different ways than Indiana Tech did. And you know, we really got up for this game because, I mean, a lot was at stake here. The winner of the game is controlling the #1 overall regular season right now. Now, that doesn't mean we lose a game. We just gave up everything we fought for last night. You talk about some of those things. I mean, Haley Jordan, 21 points in 25 minutes. I mean, Harley Antrit, not to be confused with Harley Adler, who played with us for a few years, about 6 or 7 years ago. You know, she scored 10 points in 8 minutes. I mean, she's instant offense when she goes in. And then, you know, Aaliyah Kreitz, I don't know if anybody can break a zone in the back like Aaliyah Kreitz, but it's beautiful to watch. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, you know, you're like, well, they're not mentioning the girl that got the triple-double, and you're like, oh, well, hey, she had 4 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. So you can be effective without scoring. And you don't have to score when you have all that scoring around you. Right. I mean, there's people to do that. You know, and we just keep doing this. They're so selfless and passing. I was talking with a few fans after the game, and they were talking about, because I asked them for feedback. You know, they're sitting there, they never watch us. I just like hearing people's opinion. And they were like, I feel like your girls should have shot sometimes. They pass open a lot of open shots. And he said, but right when I'm about to criticize them, I don't even see a pass that's about to occur, and they lay it off the glass. And that's why we average 23 assists a game, because we really look. We had 20 last night. Probably could have a couple more, but we're going to be happy with 20. So, again, great win. We're moving forward. Lastly, I just want to touch up on a couple players that Coach Smalley was talking about for individual awards, like that could be all-conference, can be player of the year. I mean, right now we're led by Haley Jordan. She has 18.2 points per game, and she's averaging 6.4 rebounds. I mean, she has really, her freshman and sophomore year she was good, but now she's great, and she's pushing elite. And you know, we still get her for 2 more years after this year. That's pretty awesome. You got Ella Skeens. She's averaging 15.4 points and 8 rebounds. And then, you know, Kaylee Darnell, as a true freshman, is averaging 11.9 points and 5.4. But here's the thing. In conference, she's averaging around 19. Mm-hmm. So, you know, last night, they circled her name and said, hey, we want to make sure she doesn't get any open shots. Well, we actually like that when somebody tries to shut certain players down, because we got a platoon of players, and we're just going to come in there, and it's whoever's up that night, they go up. And whenever, if Haley ain't scoring points, she would gladly like to see Darnell get a triple-double. If Darnell's not getting the points and stuff, she wants to cheer for Haley. She wants to cheer for Ella. She wants to cheer for Avery coming in and getting a double-double off the bench like she has all year. I mean, it's just next person up. And that's probably the key to this team, is just their playing chemistry is out the roof.
I agree with that. I think Mikal Bates came off the bench and gave us some
played
tremendous support at the guard spot, and it goes on and on. You'd mentioned something that win against Midway last night, and it put us in the driver's seat, but I want to make it perfectly clear. We're in the driver's seat. We're just sitting there. We don't have the seat belt on. We don't have the key in the ignition. The motor's not running. We're just sitting in the car right now, which gives us all the power that we need, but we've got to go forward. We cannot let a slip-up happen with a Brescia or a Oakland City or Alice Lloyd that's coming up, and IU East coming back to our place. And we got to go to Tech. So there's a lot of games to be played. Absolutely. So we're not going to exhale and just say, hey, we've made it to the mountaintop. We got to work hard to stay there and to keep there. Also during this break, some important things that are maybe not basketball related, but so the people that take invested interest in our program and have helped feed us over the break. I want to get some of these people in. Bonnie and Gary Gilliland. Bonnie works in our post office here at the university, and they're just some of our best fans, and we've been to their place to eat. They're going to feed us another meal. Bobby and Allison Jeffers, unbelievable support that they always give us throughout the entire year. A couple of meals, and I think we got another game night coming up that I want to kick somebody's butt in euchre, so just FYI. Mulaney Stout does a great job of helping out with that. Rose Evans, my favorite mother-in-law, 37 years, and Margaret Evans, my wife, and Sarah Evansmore, my sister-in-law, who's always helping out with those things. Becky and Neil Darnell have brought food up to us from various venues down in the Wheelersburg area. We appreciate that. Forgy Catering is going to be taking care of us here a couple of times. That's Steve Forgy. First Church of the Nazarene, Ryan and Michelle Young, appreciate all that they have done for us. And then Phyllis Brandenberry, and I know I'm probably missing somebody. If I do, I greatly apologize for that. But that's important too, and we've had so much tremendous support from our fans, and coming up to the games when there's kind of a ghost crowd, but we've had good crowds, even in the
over break,
even over the break and over the COVID and all that. So we're excited and happy about all that.
Okay, so let's look forward to let's preview the two games for Thursday and Saturdays for this weekend. So tomorrow we play Brescia, and then Saturday we're going to play Oakland City. Just give us a quick preview of what you expect in those games.
Well, now Brescia, and I'm glad we have them at home, because every time we play down there, it doesn't matter. We just never seem to play well down there. We just never click down there. So we have them at home, so that's a plus. Brescia right now, they're 2-4 in the league, and 3-12 overall. So a lot of times, I think even fans and sometimes coaches and sometimes players look at that and say, piece of cake, we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, we got to worry about that. You got to respect every opponent. So we're going to have time today to watch film. We're in this WNBA schedule. We played last Saturday, we played last night, which was Tuesday. We're playing Thursday, playing Saturday. I'm not much of a mathematician, but that's 4 games in 8 days. So you play, prepare. Play, prepare. So we got to be engaged. We got to be ready to go. So Brescia on Thursday, and then Oakland City coming in here. Now, if you remember last year, we played up at Oakland City, and we had our hands full, and I felt fortunate we got out of there with a 6 or an 8-point win. They're athletic. They're 4-2 in the West Division, 7-7 overall, and they're coming in the night before, so they're going to be comfortable. They're coming in and get a little practice in our gym, so that's going to be a good game. Again, we got a day to prepare, and then we got to get after it. But I like where we are. I like who we are. I like the camaraderie that we have, and I like your comment about assists. We're very unselfish, very, very unselfish, and that's going a long way.
Yeah, we lead the NAI in 2 categories: points per game and assists. So those go hand in hand, and kind of show what our motto is.
Right.
Well, like you said, we play 4 games in 8 days, but then we don't play until the following Saturday, so we'll be all right. Hopefully by the next show, next Wednesday, we will be 20-1 and have good times.
And I want to give one last shout out. We're talking about fans and support. Coach Bias and Coach Markham did a tremendous job. We had a little alumni gathering on Saturday after the IU Southeast game. Well, before and during and after the IU Southeast game, and it was some little celebration about 600 wins, but that's not the issue. The point is we had about 80 to 100 alumni that came back. Of course, that's players and families and things of that nature. And that was so awesome to see that and to have that camaraderie and networking, and to get to see some players that I haven't seen in quite a few years, and the genuine outpour of just the fact they want to be involved, and you guys did a great job with that, the alumni gathering that we're calling it, and we have to continue that. We have to keep that going. Bobby and Allison Jeffers and Mulaney and my wife Margaret and Rosemary did a good job. They did the food, and athletic director Lanham and President Ryan Smith were there and supported that whole process. So that was just a great night. It was good that our current players got to experience some of that, because that's going to be them 5, 10, 15 years down the road. 20 years down the road, I'll come in a wheelchair like my mama did. My mama came to the game in a wheelchair, so I'm going to do that 20 years from now. So I was excited about that. I, again, appreciate all the work that went into that with Coach Bias and Coach Markham and the team. The team kept their mouth shut. They knew about it for about a month, and they didn't crack. That's unbelievable. So I like that. So a lot of great things going on at the University of Rio Grande Community College in athletics and women's basketball, and we're excited to be where we are right now, and we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I won't ask you what movie that line's from.
Yep, they would probably guess it from your 14 other times you've said that, but that's all right. Smokey and
the Bandit. There you go, buddy.
So we got that. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We're going to bring up one of the players, Kaylee Darnell, and then followed by her will be Haley Jordan when we come back. Hello and welcome back. I'm joined by freshman Kaylee Darnell and junior Haley Jordan. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
Glad to be here.
It's a good morning. We got us a victory last night. We went out and celebrated a little bit of Buffalo Wild Wings. Hey, we're up for sponsorship. If you want to sponsor our team, that's fine. We will settle in wings and a couple appetizers. Want to talk a little bit about the Midway game and then kind of previewing and then just reflect on some stats. So, Kaylee, last night, you've been in big games already since being here. We played Indiana Tech, IU Southeast, IU East. We've played some good teams, but we played Midway last night. We really won it. Can you just kind of give me some of your thoughts on the game and the victory last night?
Definitely a really big win for our team. Kind of puts us in the driver's seat of the conference. So this is just one big stepping stool of what is to continue coming. So we got this win. We're in the driver's seat. Now we just have to keep winning to really secure the driver's spot in the conference.
Yeah, because that is very tough. Once you get in the driver's seat, you do not want to give it up. But once you get there, you know you've done work to get there. Haley, kind of your thoughts and reflection on the Midway game?
I think we played really good as a team because Midway they were a really good program, and I just think that we had so many peaks and valleys. We had a 45-minute intermission, but after that we definitely came together as a team and got a good team win last night.
Yeah, if we'd had a better IT guy on those scoreboards, it may have not been a 45-minute intermission. Sorry about that. The team's responded. I mean, we've been up, we've been down in the second half. We've lost the game. We've done so much things. This question is going to go towards you, Haley. What makes a difference for this team to be 18-1 compared to last year's team? Obviously, Darnell can't talk on that, but what puts us in a position to be 18-1 this year?
I think we had I know definitely at the beginning we had a chip on our shoulder. Every team we played, we wanted to get a win because we knew how it felt. Last year, I remember we were 0-5 at one time, I believe, and now this year we're doing way much better than last year. And I just think it's definitely a team thing. We averaging 20-something assists a game. I think that's really big. The extra pass is definitely a big game changer, and the energy off the bench, the energy on the bench, everything is I think everything is so much better this year.
Yeah, and I probably didn't actually think about that, and probably Coach Smalley either, but that's good to hear a player say it. Last year's hardship probably paved the way for this year's success of knowing that we didn't want that. And then when we add new pieces in, we didn't accept them. If Darnell's not going hard, which doesn't exist, we feel more comfortable to call each other out now because we don't want to go to that 0-5. We don't want to go there. Yeah. So those are very good points. Coach Molly had stated earlier we have 3 players of the weeks. I don't know. I haven't done my research, so do not fact check me on this. But there are. I don't know that there's been a team in the conference that's had 3 players be conference players of the week ever. Could be wrong, but we've had Ella, who's not here. We got Kaylee, who's joined us, and then Haley. That's pretty special. That shows the depth on our team. I mean, do you think that other people could probably get Player of the Week this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so as well.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is for them to be hot for 2 games. I mean, everybody's been hot for 2 games. I mean, Aaliyah Kreitz, who and I told Aaliyah has probably practiced the best this past week. And I was like, man, Aaliyah, you're going to go off and get 40 which we all know Aaliyah doesn't shoot enough to get 40.
Yeah.
But, she was aggressive. I believe at halftime she still only had like 2 points, 2 rebounds, something like that. But, man, that second half was beautiful when she played to her peak, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so she ended up at 21 points and 10 rebounds. Right now, as Coach had stated, we'll talk with you first, Kaylee. What you're doing as a freshman, you're on pace right now to have the best freshman season in what I can record since 2002, which was Lexi Woods, followed by the person sitting beside of you, Haley Jordan, which was very, very, very close right behind her. Those were our 2 best freshmen in recent history, and the things you're doing right now, you're up there with them. So you're playing with Haley. You lived with Lexi, and you've seen Lexi play. So, to be compared to those two, what does that say to you? What does that mean to you to be compared to those 2 players?
Oh, it's great. Those 2 girls, role models for me. I really look up to them. So it's a pleasure to be able to be comparable to them in a basketball way. So it just means the world to have those 2 girls to look up to, follow in their footsteps.
Yeah. And then, Haley, how does it feel to get to watch a freshman that gets to push both you and Lexi, who, you two, when you came in as freshmen, we built you all up and told you how good you were as freshmen. How's that feel to have somebody to play with that is pushing your records?
I think it's a good feeling, knowing that Darnell is the one to get the records or whatnot. She's definitely good, and even practicing against her, when we're playing, you never know what she's gonna do. She has so many different things. She's just talented all around.
I do know one thing she don't want to do. She don't want to ride that bike.
Never again.
I thought she's got to buy some new pants for half month.
Yeah, never again.
So with that, with Darnell, before we go over to Haley, first freshman ever to get a triple-double, for sure. And we believe she's the first freshman to get Player of the Week in our program. Which are 2 special things because we're usually so upperclassmen driven that they're up for Players of the Year and different things like that. So sometimes they overshine a really good freshman like Haley. Haley's freshman year, Haley was a good freshman, but you'd have like a Sydney Holden. And it's hard because Sydney be Sydney, and Sydney's getting triple doubles, not even trying. So those are kind of hard to outshine some people, and that's how good we are now because it's hard to outshine people because we have 4, 5, 6, 7 elite players, and then we have 4 or 5 other good players, and then we have those people that are learning the system that are going to be those players one point. It may not be this year, but it's going to be next year, or it's going to be when they get their shot, they're going to be there. Harley's one of those. Man, she really grabs the moment of whenever she gets in there and plays to her full potential. We'll go with Haley here. Haley, you're a true junior. You still got 2 years because of the COVID season. You're 10 points away from 1,000. How's that feel?
It feels great. I'm trying not to think about it a little bit. Just trying to play the game, keep winning, getting my teammates.
Try not to think about it till we bring it up on a talk show.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Coach, thanks. Tomorrow she gets 8 if she gets 8 tomorrow. She's not my first, she will hate me. But, this the growth of you from your freshman to your junior year and what you've molded into and became what you have for us on the court is just, the coaching staff talks about it all the time. You're becoming one of the elite players of all time in the Rio program. And with 2 more years, it is potentially that you will be the 3rd player, I believe, to crack 2,000 points. Now, that's the pressure I'm putting on you. So you tell me how that feels when we have this talk show in 2 years, whenever I'm like, Haley, you're 10 points away from 2,000. How does it feel? So we'll wrap up with this. What do you envision? We're at game 19. After Thursday, we'll be at 20. There's only 9 games left because we're going to take a forfeit against Ohio Valley that recently closed their doors over break. What do you envision over the next 9 games for this team, Darnell?
9 wins, of course.
I like those.
I definitely agree with her.
Now, what do you envision for yourself over these next 9 games?
Just going out each and every game, doing what I can to help the team out, whether it's assists, rebounds, points, whatever each game brings me. Just go out there and do the best that I can to help my team get the win.
Good. And Haley, what about you?
I definitely agree. I'm going to say just keep doing what I'm doing, staying locked in, being all in, just making my teammates better, maybe less text down the road, but...
So Haley leads the team in points per game, technicals per game, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So anyways, until next time, we all right. We got Haley's back. She's got ours. She wears her feelings on her sleeves, and that's why we love her. But that's also sometimes why the referees don't love her. But until next time, we'll be back next Wednesday. We got 2 games. Hopefully we'll have 2 dubs. We'll come back and be 20-1 hopefully, and be getting ready for a last run before we go to the conference tournament and make a national tournament run. So we'll see you next Wednesday.